Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and this is Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm feeling alive, man. I got my homie in studio right now, the distinguished gentleman, freshly bronzed from a week at the beach. I'll tell you what, Judah Wickhauer, normally I chatter for about 45 seconds to introduce the show. I think something that's going to drive ratings even more than that. This man's mug. Let's get the dude on screen. Back from the beach with a haircut, and what you tan well. No SPF needed at all. Is that safe to say?
Oh, no, we're safe.
You use SPF?
I do.
SPF what? Like 10? I mean, you don't.
8.
Yeah, I don't use SPF.
Well, it's.
Yeah, I'm Cubano, but you're, what do you got, Italian?
A little, like the Italian and Irish every once in a while, and we're going to talk a little Italian with Joe here in a minute, but if I hit the sun right, the Italian in me comes out.
I was going to say, welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I tell you, we've gotten a bunch of positive feedback from that remote show that we did. Matter of fact, I had somebody call me up and literally go, "Was Jerry down at the beach with you?" Yep, totally. Jerry was down on the beach. So was Judah and Liza. So
on Friday we did a live show, and the distinguished gentleman Keith Smith, was it Cape Charles?
Cape Charles, yeah.
Cape Charles. He's at the beach. We were here at our studio in Charlottesville, and the dynamic and the back and forth chitter chatter between Batman and Robin was flawless.
Look at that! You're even
You're
using
brainwashing me.
There you go.
I mean, it only took you 9 months.
I have plans for you for Halloween, by the way.
That's terrifying.
And it's been ordered. Just saying.
That's terrifying.
Been ordered.
That's terrifying. One of the agents called on the show. No, remember when one of the agents commented on the show and they're like, "Be like Batman and Robin with the mask," and then Smith goes, "But they're wearing the mask over their eyes." Remember that, Keith?
Come on, let's get on with the show.
Okay, all right. Introduce what's in store for the show.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to connect with a buddy, man. I love the heck out of Joe. He's a homie, from back in the hood, and he's on Long Island right now. And I just want to catch up with him, see how life's treating him. It's a little different up there than here. What he has to deal with, and his family need to deal with this COVID-19 than what we're dealing with here. And then, more importantly, what has Pearl got coming online? What are you smiling at?
Quentin Beckham's going to come. No, this is my favorite thing. What you just said. You just said Joseph Gentile is my homie from back in the hood. He's my homie. When is the last time you've said my homie from back in the hood?
About 2 minutes ago.
About 2 minutes ago. And Beckham says, "Look at the influence you have over Jerry. You leave for a little bit and he forgets his jacket on today's show." He actually said, "Jerry, where's your jacket?"
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Beckham.
Quentin Beckham.
Apparently, I go away for a little bit of time and all hell breaks loose. Look at that. And you got the button open and...
It's a little Miami Vice, Don Johnson.
Don't go there. Okay. I actually I have to get Yonna to send.
That was one of your favorite shows, right?
That was one of them. I love that show.
Yeah, you told me before.
I love that show.
You like the cars and the boats?
I like the music.
Yeah?
It was an extended music video. Back in the day, MTV actually had music videos on it. And I'll have to show you a couple of pictures of, I actually literally had a, Don Johnson suit and all that stuff.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, I think we need to put that on Real Talk.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Well, let's go talk to Joe.
Let's go get Joseph Gentile. So, Joseph Gentile, I've got to ask you about Miami Vice when we call you here. We're calling Joe Gentile now.
Got it.
I'm going to ask him a question, then pass him to you. Joe Gentile is on the line. I get the first one, Joe Gentile. Let's make sure that, the camera's turning on. Judah Wickhauer, we got Joe Gentile here. I love this guy. Judah, give me the green light. So we were just talking Miami Vice, Joe Gentile, and Keith Smith just said, and I'm going to give you verbatim what he said. Joseph Gentile is my homie from the hood. And then he also said this, Joseph Gentile. He also said, "I love Miami Vice and Don Johnson." So why don't I give you those two topics, and you can go anywhere you want, and then I'm going to pass you to Keith Smith, Miami Vice and the homie from the hood, Joseph Gentile.
So here's the funny thing: is I know the show, but I other than Don Johnson, I'm completely dark on it. I never watched the show. So yeah, I mean, I could be the Crockett to the your what was the other guy's name? I know one was Crockett.
Don
What's
Johnson.
going on, Keith?
God. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. You're just not old enough.
Crockett and Tubbs.
Tubbs, there you go. Tubbs. Thank you. Judah, the man from behind the curtain speaks. Speaks. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great, man. How's everything going with you guys?
You know, we talk about this all the time. If it was any better, it'd be illegal. We're very blessed. We're doing great. But this is about you, man. And how's your family? I know you've been quarantined quite a long time. So what's going on in your life? And then we'll talk a little business.
Well, the Gentiles are still healthy and keeping safe, thank God. So yeah, I've taken quarantine to a whole new level. So yeah, my friends and family are getting a little frustrated with me. So I'm trying to figure ways where I can slowly get out there a little bit and kind of reintroduce myself to the world. But yeah, it's been a challenging time. But like I said, staying safe was number one in our priority list, and we've been able to
wear a
do that.
mask, Joe. Not for other people.
I'm used to wearing
Not
a
for
mask.
other
Usually
people.
They don't want this out the street without
We
a mask
definitely
on.
don't want that out.
I want to know what new level means. Don't you want to know what new level? He's taking it to another level here.
Yeah, let's hear what that is.
All right, so all right, I've certainly been on mask and gloves for a long time. I Purell my gloves after I get out of the like a store. I Purell my hands that have gloves on them to take the gloves off. In the event, I don't know why. It's it's like little things like that
We talked about this
I've
yesterday on our pre-production phone call, right? It's different for you there, right? And the folks that live maybe in Charlottesville and some of the rural areas, and maybe you could put a little perspective on it. You know, we understand this because I'm from there. You live there.
My wife's from Long Island.
Wife's from Long
Yeah.
Island, New York. How many people are in the tri-state area right now? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh God, I have
12
no
million,
idea.
14
I mean,
million?
it's crazy.
12, 14 million, something like that. I know the city's roughly 8, right? So it's somewhere between 12 and 14.
Yeah, I think Nassau County is somewhere like 4 or 5 million,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. Yeah,
So in a very small footprint, there's multiple millions, probably tens of millions. If you consider where my daughter lives in Connecticut, and we won't talk about Jersey, but there is Jersey. There is that place called Jersey. Right, I'm sorry, I had to do it. And Long Island and all that stuff, and you're so close to one another, you have to take these precautions, right?
yeah. So my wife is she does have a heart condition. She has a pre-conditioned heart condition, so it could go sideways on us very fast. So that's
Sure.
been a big reason why we've really buckled down. But yeah, if you go out, I mean, you're within. There's no way to socially distance yourself if you're in a store. It's just there's so many people.
Sure.
Like just go into the supermarket. You're surrounded by 100, 200 people at a clip,
Sure.
and not everybody is being as safe and cautious as you. I see it with my family, and they're a little more out there than we are, and we've made the decision as a family to really buckle
Good for
down.
you,
and
man.
Yeah,
we've done a
respect,
good job
Joe.
of it.
Respect.
A lot of respect on our
Yeah.
end for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So tell us about what's going on with Pearl. I know you guys got a webinar coming up. If you want to talk today, if you want to chat about that, that'd be cool. What's going on with Pearl, man?
So it's really cool. I mean, unfortunately we have a few national partnerships that I can't discuss
Sure.
right now, but really, really cool one. One is real estate related, 3 are contractor related. But what's really cool is how Pearl has exploded, during this quarantine time or during COVID. The big thing for us right now is refinance. You'd be surprised how many refinances that we're doing. It seems every day, and a request is coming in from a homeowner looking to get the value of their home increased through Pearl. And that's what led to today's webinar. That's what we're doing a lot of trainings with. Segura Sol is doing a great job with it down by you guys. So, what my team has put together, it's maximizing your solar investment. And Sandra Adamatis, who's part of the Appraisal Institute, she's a fantastic appraiser, along with Maria Nucci. They're showing how to actually appraise a home that has solar on it, and some key features that you want to make sure don't get missed in that process. So it's really exciting. It's something that's needed right now with rates where they are right now. If you're not looking to refinance, you better. I think we said that actually the last time I was in house. We were talking about how low rates are, and they're even lower
It's
now.
ridiculous.
Which
It's crazy. It's nuts.
Well, you know, I want to get back to Exploded and really talk about this refi thing, because to be honest with you, I'd never thought of it, and that's a great thing. I think we should talk a little bit about it. But one of my concerns, and we've been talking about this on the show for the last couple of weeks, is I'm really concerned that folks are starting now to think 3% is normal.
Yeah.
Right? And you know this, and I know this because we've been around the block a little bit. 3% is not normal, and 6%, maybe 5%, 4% is kind of the norm. But to go back to this refi, because that's we didn't talk about this in our pre-production thing, but this sounds pretty cool. So this webinar is today at 3:00, right? So any real estate agents that are watching, this is a great opportunity, right? It's 3:00 today.
Yeah, and 3:00, and appraisers as well. It will be recorded, and we'll be able to send it out to as if you can't make it. But look, if you have a $300,000 house and you're able to increase the value of your house by just 5% or so, that you're increasing your buying power by about $12,000, right? So if you sit there and say you could refinance about 80% of your the value of your home, that's an extra $12,000 that you can borrow for. That's the closing costs, or that's some extra cash you can put in your pocket. It's a really important thing, and I don't think we've hit the real important part of it. I think that's going to come as I believe that the real estate market recesses a little bit. Holding on to the value of your home will be even more important, right? Like right now, hey, look, I'd like to get some extra cash. But on the flip side of that, if we go into some, like more of a buyer's market where we have more inventory, hey, you want to hold on to that value as long as you can, and Pro will help you do that.
Well, because you end is 100% right. And actually, Yonna and I are getting ready to put solar on our house, hopefully the end of this year, if we can get on Segura's schedule to do that, which is a good thing. We're good with it, but that's great news because we want to refi our house too. And
so, Joe, this is what you're saying. Folks are getting their homes certified by Pearl, and they're getting them certified by Pearl to make them have to show that they're improved in value from an efficiency standpoint. And that Pearl certification at whatever level it is, Joe, is helping the refinances to go through because it's showing the people with the money that the home is legit and more valuable than it was before. Is that basically what you're saying? That's
correct.
Awesome.
So yeah, with the it's phenomenal. So you receive the green and energy efficient appraisal addendum with your certification. And so we document the features in the home, and then you have the appraisal addendum to notify the appraiser that these features are there. And that packet, once you submit this to an appraiser, according to Franny and Freddie, you have to have a competent appraiser appraise that home at that point. So you have the right as a homeowner, once you produce this documentation, hey, I need someone who knows how to value green homes. Please send them.
Let's talk about that.
And it's terrific. So you have guys like Woody Fincham in your area. They do a great job with it.
Let's talk about that for a second. So as far as timing goes, because look, Keith and Yonna Smith are trying to do this, right? We're trying to refinance our house. Mm-hmm. So what I want to do is I want to have, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to have Pearl come in, certify my house. I wish I had solar on it now because we would roll that into it. Right. But you want to come in, certify my home, and then when I go to somebody like Scott Morris to refi my house, I'm going to give him your certification, right, and your addendum to it so that they already know that. And so you're saying then when this goes out to a pool, because this is what happens now with the appraisers, right, they have to have an appraiser that is certified specifically to accept this. Is that what you're saying? Am I making any sense?
Right. So yes. So what happens is once you submit that documentation, you have the right to request an appraiser who's schooled on green homes appraise your home, because you do have a high-performing home at that point, right?
Well, so I built the house, so maybe not.
No. Under normal circumstances, for sure. So now what happens is once you submit that, then the appraiser is going to call you. You then verify with that appraiser, hey, do you know how to do this? If not, you have the right to go back to the mortgage company and say, hey, look, you need to send somebody who's schooled on this, who's competent.
And the regulators let that happen.
Really? Correct. Now, here's the interesting thing. So if an appraiser comes in and doesn't value it, what they're ultimately saying is, they're giving a value of 0. So 0 is an opinion of value. So what they're saying is solar on your home, these green energy efficient upgrades that you've done to your home over time, give the house no value, 0. And it's critical. So you have the ability to go back and challenge the appraisal. You go back to the mortgage company at that point and say, hey, look, the appraiser didn't take these assets into account when they appraised the home. I want to challenge the appraisal, and then there's a process with the mortgage company where you have the ability to do that.
That's huge. And what appraiser, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, what appraiser is basically going to turn their back to less emissions, a better home that is better for the environment, and says this home that's better for the environment has no increased value? There's no legitimate appraiser that would say that.
Well, you'd be surprised there are, but it's at some point they have to acknowledge it. There will be liability at some point where they sit there and they're saying 0, and all of a sudden it's, hey, you shorted a homeowner 0, and you put them in a bad position where possibly, there was something negative that happened. Maybe something as bad as they couldn't get a loan or something to that effect. And hey, it's at some point these appraisers have to wake up, and start really valuing, green energy efficient features the right way.
So I just wrote a note down, and thank you, Joe, for
That's a good strategy.
No, we're going to do a show with a couple of appraisers.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, we do a lot of work. So Woody Fincham who's down in Charlottesville. He's part of this group of appraisers that we're putting together across the country that are really, going to be the thought leaders that really move this this process forward. Woody's doing a great job. He's introduced us to a few. And one by one, we're picking off strategic areas around the country where we're dropping new, a friendly appraiser. I'm calling them the super friends of appraisers.
So is Scott Morris watching?
Scott Morris, give us a tag if you're watching.
Well, by the way,
someone tag Scott Morris.
Congratulations. Give me a second, Joe. Congratulations to Scott. He had a baby boy yesterday. Him and his wife had a baby boy. The reason I'm starting to see if it kind of helps to have.
We got that.
Thanks. Captain Obvious strikes again. But the reason I'm asking to see if Scott's chiming or if anybody else is chiming in on it, I'm trying to navigate the appraisal process in my head and figuring out a way, because sometimes in transactions, that's where things tend to go sideways. Right, is kind of at this appraisal end of it, and this is very interesting information that we can, because it's very difficult to contest an appraisal, right? But if I'm hearing you right, if we're certified, right, Pearl certifies us, and the appraiser does not take this into consideration, we have the right, the buyer or the seller, has the right, or even the buyer actually has the right to go ahead and contest this. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that correct?
Well, if you follow the steps correctly, again, you take the information, you submit it to the mortgage company, and you request the appraisal the correct way. Then you need to confirm that the appraiser is schooled, and then you need to make sure that you have the information to hand to the appraiser when they get to the house. So it's like a 3-step process. And once you've done that, you've brought them, you've brought it to their attention enough where then they have to, address it at some point. Pearl also, with your Pearl certification, you have letters to the lender, appraiser, and buyer. If it's a real estate certification, and you're able to use those letters as well, and it basically puts the appraiser on notice, like, hey, these are the steps that you take.
So if you're selling, get Pearl to certify your home. If you're refinancing, get Pearl to certify your home. Yes, Mrs. Smith, we will put solar on this year, I promise.
She's watching, Keith. She's watching.
That wasn't my mother, by the way. That was my wife. on the house. And if I hear this right, we're looking at a 5% bump, right? In appraisal.
Yeah, well, it depends on the assets it depends on the assets you have in the house. I mean, there's some assets that you will gain more. It depends on how old they are too, in terms of depreciation and things like that. But yeah, I mean, every little bit helps.
Yeah, we just, our home is 20 years old, and we just put in new HVAC systems, and we've just went through a renovation process. So we will give you guys a call and get them out to the Smith residence. My question is, should I wait until the solar's on, or should I do it now?
That's a good question.
Well, the solar is a great asset. I mean, of all the upgrades, that's the one that really, I mean, you're putting a power plant on your house. I mean, Tad talked about this on the last time we were off. Yeah, I mean, you're putting a power plant on your house, and eventually you will have little to no energy bill for the house. I mean, that's the one that really you reap the biggest benefit from. So yeah, I would wait.
The tough
It
part
would
you
give
have
the
with
most.
waiting though is if the rates move, because you're
Yeah.
basically saying you're not going to get on Segura's calendar until the end of 2020.
Yeah, which
That just shows you how busy they are.
yeah. So where we're at right now, if we're hovering anywhere around 3%, it's a win.
Okay.
So my mortgage is over 20 years old. So
So what are you, 5 and change?
a little closer to 6.
Okay. Oh, so you're saving points.
Yeah, we're saving.
plural.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big. It's
So Keith, I don't know if you know this, but I grew up in the real estate industry doing mortgages.
I did not know
And
that.
when I first started, my refinances was somewhere around 9.5%.
Wow.
I was refinancing people down to 9.5%. The first year that I was in
What
mortgages,
year was
and then
that?
they slowly started dropping. Oh God, it was the late 90s.
This is where Keith Smith tells you the mortgage on his first house. Cue Keith Smith right now.
We spent too much time
Cue
together.
Keith Smith right now.
18% our first house.
18%.
Gosh, that.
And the
puts it in
funny thing
perspective.
was I wasn't much older than 18. I was 24.
You basically had a credit card for a mortgage.
I had a credit card for a mortgage.
You had a credit card for a mortgage.
So
Yeah, but how much was that? What was the house value?
That's a key
Well,
point.
the house
It's
value-
under 100K, right?
no, it was a buck and a half.
Okay, that's a good.
It was 150,
Wow.
150 grand.
That's a good house for then. What year was that?
88.
Dang. So what's that in today's
Yeah, so-
terms?
That's a great question. I'd say double for sure. 350 maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, in that price range. 350. Probably. Yeah, probably a little bit more. I built it myself, so I kind of overbuilt. I overbuilt for the market at that particular time. So Joe, what else is going on? What great information can we share to the real estate agents and everybody watching about Pearl? And other than this refi and the solar, what great stuff can you share with us?
All right, so I mean, right now, it's always been, for the last few shows, it's really been our virtual certifications. So right now, our solar certifications are virtual, so we don't have to send someone to the house. They're less expensive and faster turnaround time. So if you have host-owned solar on the home, it's a no-brainer. That certification right now, we're just finishing up a special. I think it's still $69. Which is great. So I mean, come on, if you have a listing and it has it, let's get the buyers informed and really showcase a fabulous asset.
And the translation into that is $69 gets you how much in value as on average?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the size of the system. It's really there's so many variables, and it really depends on location. But you're talking about adding a few $1,000s to the value of your home. I mean, it's just a no-brainer.
So the return on investment is high.
Yeah, the ROI is strong.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Joe, final word.
Sure. Listen, I appreciate you guys having me on. I mean, this is terrific. I'm glad you guys are still thriving through all this. I can't wait to come back to Charlottesville and see you guys in person.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is great stuff, man. I miss you guys.
Well, we miss you having across you from the table, but we're not going anywhere. Mr. Miller and I are going to negotiate 2021 here later on after the show.
The show's getting renewed.
We're getting renewed.
Listen, do you need me to come down and help you, Keith? I can come down and just stand over your shoulder just to make sure Jerry knows.
You standing here, brother.
Joe, your negotiation tactics are crowbar to the kneecaps. We don't need that tactic, Joe.
It totally not his style.
I know.
Look at that smile.
Joking.
Look at that smile. That's not his style.
It's just the fear of that happening, like the possibility.
You're just a little puppy dog. That's all you. I just pet him on top of Joe.
Joe is a ferocious pit bull.
He's a puppy dog.
He's a ferocious pit bull.
He's a puppy dog.
Joe, we love you.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man. Give my best to your wife and your family, okay?
Love Joe Gentile right there. This is also the last time. Joe, you killed it, baby. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
We love Joseph Gentile. I love what Pearl's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, good night. It's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I excuse me for a second, folks. So I can hear you.
Well, you know what? Next time you're doing this show, we got the wireless headphones coming for you.
Actually, these are Bluetooth.
So we're going to have that too. This is the one worry I had. Okay, so we got the Bluetooth headset coming in tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
So you'll have one Bluetooth headphone from the show,
and another Bluetooth,
and then a Bluetooth hearing aid in the other ear. How is that going to work? Is that going to work?
So you two can talk between the hollow between my ears.
Is that going to work?
Well, I guess we're going to find
We're
out.
going to find out.
We're going to find out. Let's not test that when I call in from
Seattle.
Seattle next
because that's
week.
Friday.
Yeah, we're heading out to Seattle on Friday. Going to do a little bit of we're going to see our youngest daughter and our new son-in-law, which we're excited about. And a little bit at the end of the show, I've got a little bit of something I want to say to my youngest daughter.
Ooh.
Hopefully I can get her online. And
you got some comments coming in to you from your colleagues.
Oh, yeah, cool. Love to hear them.
So a good one coming in from Michael Guthrie.
Hey.
So Quentin Beckham, still watching. Huge fan of you, Quentin. Yonna Smith says, welcome to Joseph Gentile, and thank you to all our fabulous sponsors, Interstate Pest and Service Companies, Scott Morris, Dairy Market, Pearl Certification, Roy Wheeler, Marie Bett, Bill Tucker, and Charlottesville Settlement Company. You got a hell of a show, Keith Smith. Michael said,
thank you, Yonna.
This could be a good topic for you guys.
Michael
Guthrie.
Yeah.
He said, I just heard about someone getting a jumbo loan at 3.125%.
Oh, my
Round
God.
of applause. We should talk about this. That is huge, Michael says. He also says the key is to make sure that the lender uses an appraiser who understands the value of Pearl certification. So 2 topics he wanted us to cover on the show.
Well, there's a reason why he's the man, the myth, the legend.
And he's going to be here Friday?
He's going to be here Friday. Thank you, Michael. He's going to cover for me while we're flying out west. So if Michael wants to cover that, I mean, whatever, it's Michael's show, whatever he wants to cover on Friday. But that's a super low number.
Yeah.
But did I hear that right? Is it under 4%?
Yeah. Jumbo, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Michael Guthrie. We love Michael Guthrie here. His comment, I just heard about someone being a buyer.
Sure.
Getting a jumbo loan at 3.125%.
And the max is still 509, I think, right?
That's what Quentin educated on us. And
I believe
Quentin, jump in here if we're
I
wrong
believe
on that.
I believe it's still 509. Yeah. So, which is, there's a lot of product in the 500s out there, so that's actually a good thing. It gets a little bit more difficult when you get a little higher up, but under 4%, because, man, a month ago, that was like 6 or 7%, which means, and Michael can chime in and correct me if I'm wrong, that means that the lenders are trying to push the jumbo loans again.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would hope to goodness, right?
Well, I think.
And Guthrie says it was way over a 509,000.
Yeah, so they did. So obviously, somebody brought up a bunch of cash to the table, or there's other ways of doing like a second on it and stuff like that, so you can get it down. But
give us some nitty gritty on that. And we got Quentin Beckham watching. I'm seeing 4 brokers watching the program now from different firms.
Thank
Barbara Lundgren, welcome to the program here. Hello, Logan Foster, Tracy Shiflett. Hello. David Gregory Mitchell, Aaron King, hello. Joseph Gentile's getting props from a ton of people at Pearl Certification, including Chuck Olstrom says, we love Joe. Anne-Marie DeBritta, I'm going to mess up your last name, Anne-Marie. She says, we were only talking about you yesterday, Joe. Joe, we love you, and here you are. Laura Kaufman says, go Joe Gentile. John Boyd says he is a guy for that. Go Joe Gentile. So a lot of Joe Gentile fans watching out there. 20% down. It was a 20% down.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
20% down.
Which drove it down to 509 or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, everybody loves a little Joe. I mean, he's just a fun guy to be around.
Very positive guy.
Yeah, I just
love Joe Gentile.
I was not aware of his wife's heart condition, so we'll keep her in our thoughts.
Our buddy, the tennis player, Dan Pettit.
Oh, hey, Dan.
Watching the program right now. Hello and good morning, Dan.
Dan, the beginning of the show, you go ahead and you say...
You're really going to go down that road?
Well...
I don't think you should go down
Okay, we're not going to go down that road.
You should go down
Dan,
that
we can't go down that road.
This is your conscience.
My conscience?
Yeah, don't go down that road. You and I spend too much time together. Don't go down that road. My friend, all right, so we have so much show here, and we have a lot of real estate to talk. I love this part of the show that we're about to get to, my friend.
Yeah. So we want to talk a little bit about today's buyers, and they're serious about purchasing, right? There's buyers out there seriously doing it. If you wouldn't mind, slide 1, Judah. And I want to give kudos to Judah. Thank you for following the conversation and putting up a slide without me even asking for it. So thank you. Thank you.
Seriously, Judah, good job.
Yeah. So, what we're kind of talking about buyers, and buyers are in the market, and they've been kind of sitting on the side a little bit, and now they're starting to come in a big way. You're smiling.
No, I'm watching. I think this is a great segment you have planned.
Yeah. So if you can jump into slide 2, if you don't mind. This is just a quick little quote from actually the National Association of Home Builders. But what we're talking about in the second quarter, half were not simply planning, but they were actually engaged in the process. So, what we're doing is this, I think we predicted this, or we discussed it.
You
anyway.
predicted this.
Well, we discussed it, that this was going to be a pretty shallow V. I did not think it was going to be this shallow. I figured this V was going to be closer, stretching from pretty much July. I was trying to stretch it.
This is an incredible real estate recovery.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Right from the doldrums of Q2
That's exactly
and
right.
March and April. Dude, in March and April, we were doing this show. And dude, this is just two dudes talking here. In March and April, we were doing this show. And every realtor in Charlottesville and Central Virginia was literally scrambling to figure out how to do virtual open houses.
Yeah, sure.
Then you guys figured it out.
Sure.
You adapted like chameleons in the jungle,
Sure.
trying to survive in a Darwinistic, capitalistic, COVID ecosystem.
You having fun?
And now you came out of Q3 pounding your chest like gorillas
Well-
atop the totem pole.
You done?
I am done.
You done? You feel better about yourself now?
Robin's done.
Robin's done.
Robin's done.
Jeez, oh crap! I got to get
done.
more. I got to get more meat, Robin and Batman.
You need more of
memes.
my iced coffee.
Oh, good lord!
So Marie Pet.
Marie Bet, yeah, I'm glad to see the line was out the door, and I will tell you, I actually brought my espresso machine down to the
beach?
To the beach, yeah. So, but I did miss my Marie Bet.
Did you ever think when you were in the Marines and you were wooing Yonna, okay, during a Cold War,
I woo her every day.
that you would be bringing an espresso machine to the beach? Have you gotten soft, Keith?
No, if you would have known me back then, you would have said, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Okay.
That makes sense.
So when you were a little bougie back then, is what you're saying?
It could be.
Okay.
You
Hey,
know.
you have good taste.
I have great taste in women.
I know you do.
So they got me off track here. So if you can jump to slide 3, if you don't mind, just a little bit more stats. We're just talking about the share of buyers actively trying to buy a home. And excuse me, I have to look here with my eyes on it. So Q1 in 19, we were at 49% of the buyers looking. So Q1 in 20 and Q2 in 20 is back at that 49%. So we were a little bit low back in the other quarters, but we're back up to 50%. I mean, buyers are out there looking, and demand is growing. And we talk about this all the time with the millennials, right? And we're going to pivot a little bit off of millennials. I think it was on Friday. We had somebody chime in about Generation Z or X.
The next one.
The next one up.
Right?
Between
the younger one.
Between you and me.
Yeah. No. I thought they're the one after.
The one after let's find out. Slide 6.
Help us somebody help us here. Is that slide 6?
That's slide 6. We got that.
Okay.
So Gen X is, I guess, what I'm talking about. Z is before us. It's going to be before the millennials. They got the younger millennials, the older millennials, and so Gen X is the next one up.
Yeah. Okay. So
And then
Gen
you got-
X. Okay. I am a millennial. Are you a younger boomer or an older boomer? We're going to call you a younger boomer.
Let's call it a younger.
You're a younger boomer. All right, so there's the younger boomer, the Gen Xers, the millennials. I'm the millennials. After the younger
go.
millennials,
There you
there we go. There's the Gen Zers. Keep this on screen to help us, please. Judah's learning too right there. So the Gen Xers are between you and me.
Correct.
Man, I'm an older millennial.
You are a millennial.
Darn it, I'm an older millennial.
But it's interesting. So Gen Z is coming up hard. But right now, the younger millennials and the older millennials make up about 38% of the market. But we're going to talk a little bit about going back into the type of homes and the locations, right? We've been talking about. Thank you, Judah, for doing that again. But we'll talk a little bit about Gen X's a little bit, because I think on Friday we had somebody ask about that. So I took some notes, and we're going to do some stuff. You're smiling.
But Barbara Lundgren says you guys use the word woo. And
Woo.
Keith said, I woo my woman every day. And Barbara's saying a young guy like Jerry using the word woo.
Woo.
Isn't woo? Is it romanticized? It's not court.
Oh,
Court is old. Is an old word.
I actually used that word, courting.
You courted. You're saying courting.
I courted my wife, my lovely wife. We actually, we talk about this. We courted in Greece.
You courted in Greece and over the phone. No, you proposed over the phone.
I proposed over the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While a Soviet gentleman smoking a cigarette was listening on the phone. Yeah. Congratulations.
True story.
And I know it. It's a beautiful story. So you say court, I say woo.
Yeah.
Date or romanticize?
So Judah, go back to the millennial, older boomer, younger boomer slide.
You know why I'm an older millennial? I'm having a hard time reading this on the
No,
screen, Keith. I'm serious.
And this ain't helping either.
No, I know. Why is the print so small?
Well, I was trying to save ink.
He's trying to
save the environment. We'll wait for Judah to get
No, he's got it on screen. There's a little bit of delay.
A little bit of a delay.
Okay.
But to go on the wooing thing,
Once it gets
on the screen.
It's on my screen here. So they're seeing it right now. It's going to be on screen in 3 and 2.
There you go. So the younger boomers use the word woo, right?
Okay.
So that's 1955 to 1964.
Okay. And the younger boomers use the word court, you said.
Courting. And woo.
Courting.
And woo. It's interchangeable.
The older millennials use woo.
Woo. Okay.
Evidently.
Okay.
Dan Pettit says, talk real estate.
Dan
Pettit says, talk real estate. Yo.
Damn, Dan.
Dan. We're just having fun, Dan. Bob Shaw, welcome to the broadcast. Stephanie Rhodes, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, Stephanie.
State Pest and Service Companies.
So we'll go back to real estate on Dan's command.
Yes.
Slide 7, please. So I've got to keep it in my head that there's a 10-second delay before it gets back up on there. So what that's going to talk about is the type of home purchase, right? So this is the NAR statistics that we've been talking about for a while. It's the millennial report that they do. It's called the 2020 report, but it really encompasses most of 19, so it's been going on for a while. And for the most part, what we're about ready to talk about tracked also in 18. So these trends have been going on for about 24 months. So if you take a look, and if you can keep that up for a little bit, I'd appreciate it. So if you take a look at that, right, we determined the 22 to 39 is the millennials, right? So the green bar is your detached single home. So the last 12 months, 80 to 90% of the buyers are buying detached homes. The blue bar is townhomes, so it's roughly between 6 and 9%. But then we talked about the middle, the Xers, right? The Gen the Gen Xers, right? I got that right?
Yeah.
Is between you and I.
Yeah.
They're up to 90% in detached. So if you're just taking a look at the volume of the market, this is what they want. They want these single family detached.
R1.
Yeah. R1S. Lake Monticello, Crozet. We're going to talk about Waynesboro in a little while. That kind of thing, and then
they want the American dream. The American dream still rings true. It's the house with the front and backyard and the white picket fence. It's still what people want.
Sure. Slide 8, if you don't mind, Judah, and if you could leave that up for a little while, I'd appreciate that. So this is again same report. This is where are they buying? So we're looking at 80 to 90% pretty much across the board from 22 to 64 are looking to buy in the single family detached homes, and the question is now is where. Now obviously that kind of moves us outside the city, and I think that's what, when you take a look at that, that's what you're going to see, that same age group pretty much from 29 to 64. The younger age is a little bit higher, right? So between 22 and 54. So It's a little bit outside. I'm on that 55 to 64 slide.
Yeah. But
between roughly 50 to 53% in that range are doing in subdivisions, the Lake Monticello's, the suburban, quote unquote suburban area, which is, we talk about this all the time, which has been contradictory to what you listen to the media, right? And if you take a look at that 22 to 39, right? The urban central is only it's 14%. Interesting, the 55 to 64, it drops down to 40%, and actually the small town jumps up and the urban jumps up. And just to follow through that with a little bit, Cape Charles is considered a small town, and it's funny. We were walking around talking to folks, and everybody was my wife's and I's age group, 55 to 64, and that 27 reads true. Most of the people that are buying in that second home market up there is up my age group, and we're in our, technically, 50 to 65 is your high net worth years, supposedly. That's what they say. I don't know. But anyway, so I thought that was interesting stuff to get into. I know we had a couple of folks chiming in, say, hey, what about the 40 age group, and where are they buying, and what type of homes they're buying at, and it's really the same as the millennial. So if the millennial is 38% of the market and this Gen X is trying to do the same thing, they're competing against one another. And then you slide in Keith and Yonna, right?
And that's why we have no supply.
That's why we have no supply.
And that's why you and we're all seeing the demand pushing to Fluvanna County, to Greene County, to Waynesboro. Because the supply is potentially more available. Even more importantly, the supply is priced more affordably.
Well, you're going to find, when we talk about Waynesboro, you're going to find out there isn't a lot of supply out there.
What kind of delta are we looking at for that entry point starter home with the Waynesboro versus, say, Charlottesville, Albemarle, and versus Fluvanna? I mean, what kind of delta reduction are we looking at Waynesboro? Roughly, back of the napkin. And we have comments coming in from your colleagues, too.
Well, I'd love to hear them, but I'll tell you exactly the number.
Because he's got some numbers in front of him, guys. I love the spreadsheets.
So I did a radius search around Waynesboro, taking out to Stanton, all the way up to the 64, 81 interchange, and I did a radius around it. I can't remember the exact miles on it. 230K. 230. It's the medium sales price, which, by the way, last year was 200. So we jumped up 30K. So this is the second quarter only, right? So this is sold second quarter out there, and if you take a look at the
days on market, 11 days.
Yeah.
That's startling.
Yeah. But if you take a look at it, right, it's what we've been talking about. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, roughly 1,900 square feet.
It's the starter home.
That's exactly right.
The starter home.
That's exactly right. 11 days on market, median sales prices, 230. There was a max of 1.8, which that got factored out, and then there was a minimum of 45,000, so that got factored out.
It was a tear down, probably.
Well, more than likely. I didn't look into it that much. But that's a 30 grand jump, quarter over quarter, year over year. So
a 30K jump is a 15% increase year over year in this Waynesboro market. 200 to 230 is an increase of 15%, directly attributed, Keith Smith, to low interest rates, a lack of supply in Charlottesville and Albemarle County, and still an overwhelming demand of people wanting to live in the area. Now they're just embodying the mindset of drive till we qualify, we'll get in the vehicle a little bit longer and drive to the epicenter of employment, Charlottesville, and in return we'll get the big backyard and the white picket fence and the house we can afford.
So it's interesting. I ran new construction because normally we don't talk new construction in that because it kind of skews the numbers a little bit. So last 6 months, new construction, same radius. Interesting number. The median sales price, $271.
Man.
Big difference.
Yeah.
And Charlottesville, those numbers are reversed, right? New construction is much more expensive than resales typically. That doesn't mean it's always the case, but on some sort of average. So I thought that was an interesting number to chat about. So anybody chiming in?
Yeah, so Quentin has this to say. When we talk about Quentin Beckham, guys, the broker at Keller Williams with the Beckham team, fabulous dude. When we talk about prevalence of single-family detached homes, Keith, if we have 40 to 50% looking for that, but 80% and up buying that, could that be related to zoning limitations for density? Would they buy denser, maybe cheaper housing if it was available? Absolutely. Can I answer that? Absolutely.
Thank you, since I'm sipping coffee.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Judah. It's a new slide that we're calling this the "What's Happening" section of it. It's a tricky thing, right? Increasing density is a good thing. Producing is a good thing, but that's what got us into trouble in 2008. And Quentin knows this, and Michael Guthrie knows this, and other folks.
It's a fine line.
It's a very fine line, right? And
we're undersupplied.
We're currently undersupplied. When we were to the run up to 2008,
we were oversupplied.
Big time.
Yeah.
So we inverted numbers. We were millions and millions of units construction-wise, new construction, higher. We're now the last stat I looked at, 3.3 million under starts.
The worst thing for Albemarle County is having 5% of all of Albemarle County being designated for development. 95% of Albemarle cannot be developed. Only 5% is allowed to be developed, often called the urban ring.
Yeah.
That factor, that limitation for Albemarle County is undoubtedly positive for Fluvanna, Greene, Augusta, Waynesboro, Louisa, Orange, etc.
So I'm not going to say that should not be increased. I think it should be, but it's a very fine line.
You think the 5% should be expanded?
I believe so.
Yeah, me too. It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer, but because I sit on enough commissions and boards, this is a difficult process to go through, and it's involves a lot of folks in it. But I think it should be increased. What number is yet to be determined, right? Excuse me. Some folks want it unlimited. Some folks want 6%.
It should be limited.
Should be limited.
Yeah, because essentially now what's happening is the county is going to put undue responsibility on current homeowners to cover budget shortfalls through real estate taxes and through assessments going up. And I think what's happening is, I learned from you. I'm just going to throw it out there. They're making it more difficult to buy a home and to maintain ownership of a home by keeping the 5% such a tight knit for home ownership. If we were able to expand that 5% and expand the urban ring a little bit more, we would have more homeowners. And if we had more homeowners, we could have more people assuming the burden of a budget deficit and spreading that real estate tax responsibility out to more people. Now what's going to happen, they're going to come to us. I live in Albemarle County, and they're going to come to us, they're going to raise our taxes, and they're going to say, we need this money to make up this deficit we have because of COVID-19.
So what I think Quentin is trying to say, and I'm not putting words in his mouth, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, if we figure out the math, right, and this is crystal ball stuff, right? This is difficult stuff to figure out, but if we increase density, it drives the price down.
Of course.
Right. So unfortunately what's happening with this, we don't have a rubber band, we have one of those hose clamps that go around a hose, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't expand, it's on purpose. So that urban ring is not going to grow at the moment. So what's inside that urban ring is
more expensive. It's becoming more expensive.
It's becoming more expensive, and it's going to become more expensive. It's going to become more expensive for all it. And then as I'm not a big fan of it, but it's
increasing the wealth gap.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And what it's doing is doing a drive to you qualify, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. As you know, I've been living in Fluvanna County since 1987, very active in Fluvanna County in the regional politics and local government and stuff. Fluvanna is actually starting to reverse that trend. So Fluvanna forever was like 97, 98, 99% of its tax base was based on residential taxes, real estate. They're starting to grow, right?
But you guys are getting businesses coming into Fluvanna.
They made the right move. They got the water to go in there, right? And it's a little bit expensive, but it's growing that area over there. There's some partnerships going on between.
They're increasing housing density.
They're increasing housing density. They approved a project that I'm part of that is going to be 325 units,
That's
right?
big time.
Plus 80,000 square feet of commercial, which is huge.
Yeah.
And there's new roundabouts that's getting built on it. But what you're going to do is you're going to start seeing these outside areas. And if you start taking a look at this, as long as gas is...
It's cheap. The drive to your qualified mindset is okay.
That's exactly
Once
right.
gas starts getting back to $4, like it was in 2010, 2011, then people living in Waynesboro, commuting to Charlottesville to UVA Hospital are going to be stung.
Well, or they take the bus, right? They're working on that systems, buses and park and rides. I mean, they'll adapt. I mean, the folks are smart.
Yeah.
But, if you just take a look, right now, it's a scary thought. In that radius we're talking about, there's only 18 homes for sale.
In the Waynesboro
In
radius.
Waynesboro. That doesn't include.
terrifying.
That doesn't include new construction. And
You're basically telling me this. and
209. The median list price is 294.
You're basically telling me this. 3 of the affordable pockets in our area for first-time home buyers, Lake Monticello,
20 units, something like
20 units out of 4,300.
that. 42. Yeah, 4,300. roughly.
4,300, 20 units in Lake Monticello available.
That's exactly right.
Waynesboro, how many did you say?
The search I've done was 18 units.
Okay, so
18.
20 and 18 is 38. Greene County,
I got to look that up. That one number was a little high. I don't have that. That was last week's
maybe
show.
30.
If somebody's got access to Paragon, they can chime in on it. I don't remember the
Greene
number.
County available inventory right now. If you have access to that, give us that metric. So if we say 30, back of the napkin estimate for the sake of a talk show, 20 at the lake, 30 at Greene, 18 in Waynesboro. That's 68 units for a first-time home buyer, single-family detached, not including new construction. That's nothing.
So pending in that same radius at Waynesboro, 42 homes.
20 available for sale and 42 pending?
Yeah.
That's not a healthy market.
It's not balanced, that's for sure.
No, that's not a balanced
That's
market.
not balanced, that's for sure. Yeah, and so, but I think you're gonna see the Waynesboro market grow as Fluvanna County grow, and let's face it, I don't think Albemarle County anytime soon is gonna grow its 5% urban ring. I don't see it happening. It may over time, but then that's what's going to happen. The market's just going to drive out that way, and they're going to go ahead and start growing into that area. And evidence of that is we talked about this with Nelson County, right? Nelson County's doing a 180, big time 180.
The last Michael Guthrie is watching. You have 4 current or former car presidents watching this show.
I better behave.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
Michael Guthrie says the last 15 minutes of this show should be watched by everybody. It explains why expanding the urban ring and promoting affordable housing is such a complex issue.
This is why he's the man, the myth, and the legend.
And this is also why we created this format for long-form content.
That's exactly right.
So we could really get into it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like why you need to expand the urban ring in Albemarle County, and this is me saying it, leadership of the county, why we need to expand the land allocated for development. It's the same mindset. When I go into a convenience store and I buy a Kit Kat bar or a Snickers bar, that Snickers bar or that Kit Kat bar at a convenience store is $1.19. But when I go into Costco and I buy a Snickers bar or a Kit Kat bar, I can buy much more bulk at a lower price. If we're able to use the candy analogy, leadership in Albemarle County, and expand the 5%, we are creating more Kit Kat bars for people to purchase at Costco and at an affordable price point, as opposed to forcing the market to buy that Kit Kat bar at full retail at a convenience store.
So here's the balance.
This is just basic economics.
Yeah, but here's the balancing act on that.
Oh, you're going to play devil's advocate?
I'm going to play devil for the sake of the show.
Nicely done. Keith. Nicely done.
Here's the devil's advocate for that. So you go to the convenience store, you buy one Kit Kat bar.
Yeah.
How many-
$1.19.
How many Kit Kat bars do you eat?
Well, I eat the whole Kit Kat bar.
So that's one.
Yeah.
You go to Costco and buy 50,000 pounds of it. And how many Kit Kat bars do you eat when you get it? Between the time that you get it and drive home?
Probably eat as many Kit Kat bars till my stomach gets sick and says stop eating Kit Kat bars.
So that's the reverse analogy to what you're trying to.
Okay, I don't understand yours. Okay, I don't understand what that means.
Okay. So what I'm trying to explain is you have to grow this area smartly.
Okay.
Right? So if you just throw up on it and you just say, okay, it's this now, whatever this is.
Yeah.
Well, then all of a sudden you got too much coming in.
Okay.
Right, and it could impact the market. So in a certain way, the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, by not expanding the area, is affecting the market.
They're 100% affecting the market.
Okay, if they grow it too big and too fast,
They would affect the market.
and it could crash. Right, all of a sudden, next thing you know, you got a sugar high, or you're
You're puking up your Kit Kat bars in the toilet. Yeah, that's basically.
I wasn't
what
going to
ends
go
up
there.
happening. Yeah, but that's what you're alluding to.
I was going to say your insulin is shot through the roof.
Okay, you were being a little more PR than I was.
Yeah. But so it has to be done smartly. Yes, it has to grow. Yes, we need to be above 5%. My point is, the analogy I'm trying to make is what number it is, right? And there's a lot of smart people out there, Neil, Michael, Quentin, all these folks that are watching are very smart folks that can help guide this process. My fear is if you grow it too big, too fast, all of a sudden everybody starts eating their 50,000 pounds of Kit Kat bars, and then we have another problem on our hands. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. 44 active in Greene County
Thank you.
right now. So that's 44. So that's basically, off the top of my head, like 70 homes in Waynesboro, Greene, and Lake Monticello.
So I'm just
For a
curious.
starter home.
So who did that come from?
Michael.
Yeah. So Michael, what's pending right now in Greene County the last 90 days?
Someone put that in the feed.
Yeah. So,
let us know what that is right there.
but regardless, these outlying areas, the actives versus pendings are basically a 2-to-1 ratio. They might be a little bit different here and there, but clearly, what Waynesboro is, clearly Lake Monticello is. So.
Well, I mean, I would think that if you opened up the floodgates, not the floodgates, if you took the throttle on the golf cart and took it from 12 miles an hour and allowed it to go to 15 miles an hour, a little bit more speed for the golf cart, a little more housing stock.
I get it. I agree 100%. It's just you can't go here to there.
Now, the flip side, the positive, as a homeowner in Albemarle County, what leadership in Albemarle County is doing is pretty much creating incredible equity for all of us as Albemarle County homeowners.
That's exactly
by
right.
doing this, if you were able to afford and get in the club, for lack of better phrase, you're getting growth created by these governor limitations on the golf cart.
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, but
Now, the downside is my taxes are going to go up.
yeah,
I mean, it's just the nature of the beast.
yeah.
It is.
I spend a lot of time with boards and commissions and nonprofits on affordable housing, and I'm clearly not smart. There's a lot of smart people. I take things from a very practical perspective, a kind of a street smarts kind of perspective on stuff. There has to be something done, right? But I think we talked about this before. Part of the problem that happened to run up to 2008, I used this cookie jar analogy, and that's what I was trying to talk about with the Kit Kat thing, right? So it had a cookie jar. The regulators opened the top of it, and they said, "Look, you guys can take a cookie out, cookie out, cookie out." All of a sudden, the regulators are now not paying attention for whatever reason, and the next thing you know, all the cookies are gone.
Yeah.
And then the regulators fixed it by closing the cookie jar, and if you were the good Lord himself, you couldn't get a mortgage. Now they've opened it up, they filled up the cookie jar, and they kind of regulate it a little bit. There's a reason why we have regulators, right? And it's exactly the term, is to regulate the market. So not that I'm not a free market guy, definitely am a free market guy, but there has to be some rules, and then everybody has to play by them.
Dan Pettit says, and there's only 2 rentals available at Lake Monticello on top of that.
It's insane.
That is insane.
And I think one of them, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, I looked at it yesterday, like $1,600.
Is that, are those Yankees coming down here, leaving densely populated areas?
Damn Yankees.
Is that what's happening?
You know the difference between a Yankee and a damn Yankee
Yeah,
is.
you've used this joke
I have used
on
this
this show. 55 pending in Greene County.
Thank you.
55 pending in Greene
And
County.
how many was active again?
Active in Greene was 44. That's not a healthy market.
No, but
That's getting more balanced than
That's
Waynesboro.
more balanced than Waynesboro.
That's more balanced than Waynesboro.
So that's a good parity on that end of it.
My friend, good show.
So I need to do something here.
What's that? You got a video to play.
I have a video to play, but
You doing something with your phone is a new thing on air.
yeah. So it's my youngest daughter's birthday today.
We're calling your daughter?
I'm going to try.
We're going to call your daughter on air.
Can we do that?
Sure. Have you told anybody on the set or the team that we're doing this?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. All right. We're first time in the history of the I Love CVille show and the I Love CVille Network. We're going to call somebody on air, Judah, through a phone on a milestone occasion. No pressure at all, Judah Wickower, to make this work, but we're going to do it. Instructions probably is to keep the phone a little bit far from the mic, right, to prevent reverb? Or your thoughts? I guess we're going to find out.
How am I going to hear it?
He's just
you're
going to
not.
play, and he's going to talk on the phone to his lovely daughter on the show.
Yeah.
And you just got to make sure that folks hear it.
She's
on
not.
the show.
It's a little early in Seattle. She's not.
not answering?
No.
Should we get her on?
That's a lie. She's not answering her Skype call.
Okay. Should I Skype her?
You could try.
Do you have her Skype ID?
I think I do. Hold on.
We're
a
going to
sec.
surprise your daughter at 8:19 in the morning in Seattle.
Stop.
She's going to love this.
She's gonna
West Coast time.
She's gonna love me.
It's 8:19. We're going to put her on a live talk show in her former home, where she has people that know her, especially being your daughter.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. Make sure.
I can't connect to his Skype.
No,
Yeah,
he
we
would have
know.
to. I know. He
We
would
know
have
that.
to Skype it through me, and I would have to patch her in like a guest. This is live programming at its finest. When the host puts a little bit of pressure on the director and the producer of the program. I like
Yeah,
it.
she's not answering.
Okay,
so.
we will do it next time. I think she's used to being your daughter and knows that something was coming. Is that what it was?
Well, anyway, I just want to wish her a happy birthday if she's watching it.
It's her birthday.
It's her birthday. Today.
How old is she?
Yeah, 25.
That's a young lady. She's a beautiful lady.
Beautiful lady. Yeah.
Recently married.
Recently married. Yeah. And we're gonna go fishing. She's my little fishing buddy. We're gonna go fishing up in Seattle. Looking forward to it.
All right. How about a final word before we play the?
Yeah.
Final word on the market.
Yeah, it's what's your word that you use?
Sin fuego.
In fuego.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, if you're going to buy or sell, you could not ask for a better time to do that. There's buyers out there, so if you're going to sell. If you're in the middle, if you're in the position to buy, 3%. It's just ridiculous. We talked about it. It was 18%, and guys, I didn't realize we went this far over. Thank you.
It flew by. It's the first time you looked at the watch, 11:21.
It's the first time I looked at it.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, we're 6 minutes over here.
Sorry.
It's easy with you.
Yeah. So thank you for Michael Guthrie for covering
And
me.
Quentin Beckham.
And Quentin Beckham, but definitely Michael for covering for me on Friday, coming in. So I'm gonna listen live out there, and then I'm gonna call you in on Tuesday from Seattle, and we'll see how that goes. I liked it. That went well.
So we have Merg in studio.
Merg.
In studio Friday.
Friday.
All right. So we have Michael. We're excited to see you in studio on Friday. And then we're going to review, correct me if I'm wrong, is it the Q2 2020 car report that was just released?
I think that's what Michael's going to do, but it's his show, so I'll let him cover it.
Okay.
It came out, and
What did you make of that? Because I'm going to talk about that on my show a little bit. Is this just like old news at this point? It's just a completely different market, and it should be considered but ignored because it's a completely different market now?
well,
Because the Q2 2020 report was ugly.
yeah.
That's fair, right?
Yeah, I'd really let Michael tear into it. I don't understand it, to be honest with you.
How so?
Well, it's not the numbers we're looking at.
Q2 2020 was the January, February, March, April, May, June. Was the April, May. So you're saying, okay. That's April, May, June. And you're saying during your April, May, June, it was in fuego.
I don't. Yeah, to be honest with you, I haven't read the report in any great detail. I'm kind of relying on our numbers, to be frank with you.
Well, and your numbers were incredible.
And we called it. So I think, and I'm going to really leave this to Michael.
It says it was ugly but expected.
Yeah, I don't see ugly, but that's just me. Right? We just looked at it. We just looked at the second quarter in Waynesboro. Does that look ugly to you?
Doesn't look ugly to me.
Yeah. So I don't get it. But I'm going to let that go for the moment.
You got agents asking about the Q2 2020 report right now.
Well, I haven't read it, so I'm just relying on my numbers. But
well, maybe you just had a phenomenal Q2. Maybe it was.
But
unique
everybody's
to the
got
guest
it.
team
No.
realtors.
I just had a conversation with Bill Tucker yesterday, and
You said you had your best June.
July. This
Okay.
is August.
Okay, so you had your best July in the history of the Yes Team Realtors.
We did.
In how many years?
Oh God, we've been doing this since the '80s.
So you're talking
Long time.
35 years?
Yeah, this was
July was your best July in 35 years.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind the first half of that was me building, right? So we didn't do a lot of, what I call retail sales, But since we've been doing retail sales,
But still, Keith,
so we've been doing that since '99.
you have your best July in 35 years on the fresh heels of a generational pandemic.
Yeah, that's because a lot of other folks. It's just not us. You guys and Michael and everybody that we work on it. But I'm going to dig into it. But everybody that I talk to,
He says we're looking at pending. Quentin says, yep, ugly, less ugly than it could have been, though. He
Yeah.
says we're looking at pending.
yeah. So I'm looking at solds.
Yeah.
Look at everybody I'm talking.
July's third quarter.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what I just looked at for Waynesboro is second quarter.
We'll talk about it with him.
Yeah, we'll talk about
We'll talk about it with him. I mean,
I guess that's what we're going to talk about on Tuesday when I call in from Seattle.
sounds like you need to be talking about it on Friday, too, dude.
Oh, not me. Mr. Guthrie's going to talk about that on Friday.
We'll talk about it.
I'm going to be on a plane.
Good for you. You earned it.
Thank you.
J-Dubs, video? You ready to rock and roll?
It's a good time to buy.
It's a good time to buy.
And
I
so.
have a feeling that's what the theme of this video is going to be. How did I know Keith Smith? We
spent too much time together.
Who is winning? Oh, Guthrie says, who's going to win the bourbon bet? He wants to emphasize the bourbon bet real quick. I still think I'm going to win the bourbon bet. You think I'm going to win the bourbon bet?
Literally, if I had time, yesterday I was going to go buy a bottle and just give it to you
No,
today.
well, the bet is on fourth quarter.
I know that, but I think.
Michael Guthrie, can I say this?
You say what you want.
I'd be willing to double down on a bourbon bet.
I tried
For
to
fourth
do that.
quarter. No. You try to do it for third quarter.
Damn.
I'm doing it for fourth quarter. So our bet is this: Keith Smith and Michael Guthrie on one side of the line, Jerry Miller,
What time is it?
lowly Jerry Miller on the other side of the line that knows nothing about the real estate world.
Bullshit.
You guys, okay, I know a little bit. I missed you.
Do not bullshit a bullshit.
Okay. So Quentin is loving this. So the bet is Q4.
I got work to do, brother.
know,
I got things to do.
so
Okay,
what?
let's go. Hurry up.
This is our work. Q4, you're comparing it to Q2 2019.
Got it.
We're removing new construction.
Yes.
And you're saying the over-under on Q4 2020 is 85% of the sales volume of Q2 2019.
Okay, what's the double?
Excluding new construction.
Got it.
You're saying it's going to be 85% or over. In fact, 85 is a push, no one wins. The odds of it being 85.0% are slim to none. So anything above 85%, you win.
Who does
anything
who's
below,
doing the numbers? Guthrie's doing the
anything
numbers.
below 85%? Yeah, Guthrie's an integrity
Yeah,
guy,
absolutely.
honorable guy.
Absolutely.
Even if Guthrie loses this bet, he would still report honest stats.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah, he's just an honest guy.
Without
so
doubt.
here's what I'm willing to say.
Hurry up.
I'm willing to do two if you got. You don't
know,
have
I'm
to give me
getting
a
older
yes.
by the minute
You don't
here.
have to give me a yes there. I'm willing to do 2 bottles of bourbon on this same bet.
Let's mix it up from a bottle of bourbon and a bottle of gin. I like gin.
You're not going to win this. This is going to my home bar.
Okay, 2 bottles of bourbon.
Okay, this is going to be on Roy Wheeler's.
No, it's not. I'm not doing that to Michael.
He said he's covering it.
No, not 2 bottles. That's not fair. So what's the bet? We're doubling it with 2 bottles? You're betting 2 bottles now.
I mean, unless you don't want to do this bet. You don't have to give me an answer now. Michael, you don't have to give me an answer now. You have 4 firms asking for the bet in writing.
In writing?
Yeah,
I like
wants
it.
the bet in writing.
I think
so
we should
can
do
acknowledge
that.
the bet.
I think we should do that.
We don't have to up the bet now. As your friend, I would say don't up this bet. As the
Then what?
capitalist opportunist in me is saying, I'm trying to exploit and take advantage here. Michael's saying 1 bottle keep, don't do it. Michael's saying 1 bottle.
So as Michael knows, I tend not to listen to people very well. I take that bet, but somebody.
No, don't take the bet.
I'll take it.
Don't take the bet.
No, I still think I'm going to hit 85%. I really do.
You are nuts.
I still think I'm going to hit 85%.
Okay, so are we upping the bet?
We're up in the bet.
Are you sure you want to do this?
I will do it. Somebody needs to write this down, though.
Well, we're putting it on audio and visual.
That's right.
All right, 2 bourbons. You heard them.
Got it.
We're up in Judah. Witness. Can you say witness? Go Judah Cam and witness.
I'm not witnessing this.
Okay.
Don't get him involved in it. He's a nice
He's
guy.
going to ask for the bourbon when
He's
it
an
comes
honest man.
Okay, fine.
You got another.
I know.
You got a show to do.
Are you ready to play the video? All right, let's play the video in 3.
Oh, by the way,
Anything?
by the way, I'm gone for the 4th quarter. Go.
I knew you were going to say this. I was saying play the video, and you had something else to say. I was waiting for you to say that.
Come on, let's go.
All right,
let's go.
you just play the interview in 3. Play the video in 3, 2, and 1.
Thank you, everybody.